Welcome back to my digital diaries. This is episode 2 of our Microsoft Agent Framework series. Last time we introduced the framework. Today we are breaking down its two most important building blocks, agents and workflows. So stick with me till the end. And if you like this video, please click on a like button and do share it with your friends and colleagues. And if you are not subscribed to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. Let's start today's topic. Every journey starts with a user or an application. This could be you typing a question into a chatbot or an app sending a request in the background. This is where the need is born. That request travels straight into the brain of the operation, and that is the Microsoft Agent Framework. Think of this as the control tower. It doesn't do the work itself, it manages who does the work and how it gets done. Inside the framework, the first major component is agent and another one is a workflow. We will talk about workflow later. First, let's concentrate on agents. An agent is like an employee you have hired for a specific job. It has a defined behavior and clear responsibility. It knows exactly what it's supposed to do and nothing more, nothing less. The key idea here is an agent is a prompt driven component. That means its instruction written in plain language are what shape its personality and its action. No prompt, no direction. So let's zoom into the agent itself. The first piece is the prompt. This is simply the instruction you given the agent like a job description. For example, you are a customer support agent. Your job is to help customers with return requests. Next to the prompt is we have tools. Tools are actions an agent can execute. Tools are the actions an agent is allowed to perform. In our customer support example, a tool could be check order status or process a refund. Without tools, an agent can only talk. With tools, it can actually do things. Behind that, we do have data. An agent is only as smart as the knowledge it has access to. This is where the business data comes in. In return policies, product catalogs, customer history, agent need this business knowledge to make the right decision, not just cases. All of these, the prompt, the tools, the data feeds into the AI model. This could be GPT, PHI, LLMA, or even a local model like Olama. The model is reasoning engine that ties everything together and decide the next best action. Now let's talk about workflow. This is the second major component. If an agent defines who does the work, a workflow defines how the tasks are executed, in what order, under what condition, and with what logic. This leads us to agentic pattern orchestration. In real projects, you rarely use just one agent. You use multiple agents working together in a coordinated pattern, almost like a small team, each member handling their own part of the job. Let's make this practical. Imagine an e-commerce return request. A customer, that is your user, it says, I want to return my order. The support agent, guided by its prompt, understand the intent. It uses a tool to check the order status. It pulls data from the return policy database. The AI model decides approve or escalate. The workflow then executes the first step in the sequence: verify, approve, notify. If it's a high value refund, orchestration brings in a second agent like a prod check agent before the final approval. That's agent and workflow working hand in hand. One defines behavior, the other defines execution. And that's agent and workflow, the two pillars that makes the Microsoft Agent Framework actually works. Now comes the real question. Every developer asks when to use an agent and when to use workflow. Let's split into two simple columns, one for agents and one for workflow. First, use an agent when the task is open-ended or conversational. Think of answering unpredictable customer questions, but use a workflow when the process has well-defined steps, like a fixed approval process that always follows the same order. Second, use an agent when you need autonomous tool use and planning, and the agent decides what to do next on its own. But use a workflow when you need explicit control over execution order. You, the developer, decides exactly what happens first, second, and third. The sequence is defined by developer. Third, use an agent when a single LLM call, possibly with tools, and that is enough to get the job done. But use a workflow when multiple agents or functions must coordinate together to complete a bigger task. Let's make this simple with one example. A loan approval system. If a customer asks, what documents do I need for a home loan? That's open-ended and conversational. A single agent can handle it in one go. But when it's time to actually process the loan application, where you have to verify the documents, check credit score, get manager approval, then disburse fund, that's a fixed multi-step, multi-agent process. That's a job for a workflow. So simple rule: agent for the conversations, workflow for the process. That's a wrap up on agents and workflow in this episode of our Microsoft Agent Framework series on My Digital Diaries. If you found this helpful, hit like button, share it with your fellow learner, and subscribe to My Digital Diaries so that you don't miss the next episode. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.